Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
All right, welcome everyone to episode 125 of the Massenomics podcast.
We're on the road again.
Yep, new scenery again. This is the first podcast in the post-Tyler era.
These are dark times. The world as we know it is very different.
Yeah, so I'm here, Tanner. To my left, Tommy. And to the right,
Ryan. What's up?
Flying Ryan, for those of you that might not know him by just his Ryan handle. Brand new scenery as never before seen on the Massenomics podcast.
Yeah, this is and hopefully in the coming weeks there'll be some upgrades, changes here. We're still in a very transitional stage right now, so
we at least got the banner behind us.
I mean, the bare essentials are there: banner and microphones. Outside of that, we're just barely skating by.
Yeah, so we
Lights too. The lights are good.
We do have the good lights here. We also have all the we're recording on our more simplified recording device. We do have the fancier stuff here, but don't have every last one of the bugs worked out just yet.
Yeah. You don't want to do it all at once. You got to save something for the next time.
That's
so
true.
Gives everyone something to look forward to.
So something pretty big happened this week.
Just wait before we do that, because that'll take a while. I want to know.
That'll be the whole.
Have you guys
get into that? It's not going away.
Yeah. Once we hop into that, I mean, it show's over. Have you guys been keeping up in your KFC commercials lately?
No.
Okay.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched these yet?
That one with Thor.
Yeah. So for
that Martins
Lisis is Martins and Thor are in. They're the new Colonel. Or no, Thor's the new Colonel. Have you seen this, Tanner?
No, I've seen a picture.
Okay, Thor's the new Colonel, which just the picture looks so stupid. Like it's
that's how he looks.
He's got his beard, his normal beard, but then white beard on top of his other spots. I'm trying to see if I can track down the ad for us really quick here to see. Let's see if we can get some sound out of this. Okay. Facebook. Oh, playing on Facebook. Wow. Okay. To sell our largest chicken sandwich, KFC scoured the earth for the world's strongest Colonel. In 2018, we found him. The double crispy Colonel sandwich.
It looks kind of good.
Oh, God. Technical difficulties here. I have the sound turned off. Just wait. Hold up 1 second. Do you guys want to kill some audio here for me?
Martins Lisis in this too?
I think he's the one cheering him on.
He's like, I saw a screenshot of him in it. I didn't see the whole thing, but I know he's in it. He deadlifted 900 for like 3 the other day. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Martins did 900 for a triple. Oh, there we go.
Oh, I think I'm still gonna blame Facebook.
Yeah.
Yep. Just Facebook video. Moral of the story: don't use Facebook ever. Okay. So here we go. Back to the thing at hand. We have 2018. They found the largest Colonel, and enters Thor.
Welcome here to sunny Southern California and the inaugural KFC Double Crispy Challenge. We're loading these
does
double
the
crispy
chalk
Colonel
clap
sandwiches into this oversized industrial KFC box so that one man can attempt to set a world record in sandwich pulling.
Sandwich pulling world record.
I mean, the double crispy Colonel sandwich does look fairly tasty, I guess.
I think I might try it. Honestly, it looks good.
And of course, we get the commercial that doesn't actually have him doing anything. But yeah, the one I did see has him actually pulling it. We're gonna check out one more video here to see if we can track this down.
People that watch this, are they going to know who that is?
I don't think anyone will. I mean, if anything, the people like, hey,
Maybe
I heard
like
the guy from
5.
Game of Thrones made it
that's what
onto.
it's gonna be. It's not gonna be like, oh, he's the world's strongest man, strongman guy. You know, they say like strength sports don't pay, but I mean, it's obviously not right. I mean, look at
he's
this guy.
living the good life.
He's in a commercial.
Wow! So there's actually a 3-minute video now. If you go to YouTube, there is a 3-minute video, and it seems fairly extensive.
Yeah, it's got.
They have lots of him
story.
talking about being in Iceland. Okay, let's just get to the. There's Martins right there.
Oh, Martins is the applying chalk.
The handler.
Yeah. Did they have to actually get like another strongman to play that part?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's completely necessary. I'm sure Lars from Heavyweights was booked up, so they had to.
So is this airing like on?
You would think it'd be on TV.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but
like KFC seems to keep the Colonel on rotation pretty regularly. Okay, he's starting the poll.
I don't see television commercials, so I don't really know.
I don't really watch. I watch like YouTube, and that's about it, and Netflix.
And he's pulling a very large container of double crispy sandwiches in typical strongman.
Yeah.
Like, what do they normally call that event? That style pull?
Like an arm over arm
okay.
pull, I think. I wonder if it was even relatively heavy.
Chicken pull.
I mean, it doesn't need to be by any means, but it always looks funny seeing him in this massive white jacket.
Yeah, I wonder how they found a white jacket. That's kind of the same problem you had for your wedding.
I mean, you got to get that stuff custom tailored.
Finding a wedding white jacket that large.
Yeah. I mean, me and Thor are very close to the same size, I think, so he probably went through the same process I did. And that'd be really cool if this year at the Arnold he is covered in KFC stickers because it's his new primary sponsor.
If I was dressed like that. That would be cool.
So I guess what we're trying to say is get your giant box of double crispy kernels. Oh no, the double crispy kernel box is not in stores. The one that he pulled, but
just the sandwiches though.
So that's the new hotness as of today.
Well, as far as
as of yesterday from KFC.
As far as fast food marketing goes, I'm a fan of that.
I'm all on board with that.
Yeah.
Since the return of the Mac and cheese bites.
Yeah. Nothing's been catchier ever since.
Yeah.
So what did happen this weekend? We did something, one of our things that we did.
We did a thing.
Everyone.
Felt cute, might delete later.
The third annual Massenomics Strongman Showdown went down. And
with record attendance.
Record attendance.
Moms came in.
Every mom made it, so that was done.
But since we had 20 people in it, that was 20 moms.
It's a lot of moms at a strongman event. But yeah, it went. I mean, very, very. If you're gonna quit listening right now, we'll give you the quick overview. It went really good.
The weather was nice.
The weather wasn't bad. It cooperated pretty well with us, and that with an outdoor event, that's always that's always a variable that's out of our control, and it played nice with us. I don't know where we would even start, but we should probably even just touch on every event a little bit, just to like.
Yeah, I think. Even just the setup in general, like the morning of. For us, traditionally with this event, the big issue has always been seating. Basically, like if they'll bring in bleachers for us, we can fill them. And this year was I think it was the most bleachers we had by quite a bit. Wasn't it?
Definitely the most we've had.
And I mean, when it started, they were full. Like there was no.
Our start time was noon, and I think by 11:30 they were pretty full.
Yeah, they were already filling up.
Where I was like, "Boy, should we start?" Like it seems like everyone's here.
That's almost what it seemed like. Yeah, but we stick to our word, so we were firm on the noon start time. When this event started, we did have a bit of a last second change with DJ announcers. There was some.
Yeah, we got
some real
Yeah, it was for.
I mean,
more than-
outside of everyone's control,
there was
a bit of an emergency.
An
you could
emergency
say.
that came up, and our normal MC that we've had for the last couple of years, who does an amazing job and has done, we look forward to having him because he does such a good job with it. Had to back out on us with just a couple hours, until the show goes on,
Which was about the biggest thing of the day that we had as far as unpreparedness.
Yeah,
like that.
So I was kind of freaked out with that for until we got someone lined up, and the fill-in did a good job and everything, but like he hasn't been around this before.
I mean, to me, the fill-in did as absolutely good as you could have.
Yes.
Like, there's no way. I don't know how often someone gets a call like an hour before saying like, "Hey, you need to do a strongman event," and then probably have no idea what strongman or anything is, and then kind of like manage to get the crowd hyped for a little over 2 hours and seem on top of it. So, yeah, he did great.
He did do a really good job. And you touched on the seating. That was an issue too right away when I got there. We ended up getting more, but at first there was even less than what we ended up with. So it was kind of a battle to get more, within the last couple of hours before the event too. So I was freaked out about that a little bit as well. But we did get more, but it was all full at the beginning too. We could have still used more.
Yes, yep, we could have. But once it got started though, for me, when the strongman really feels real is when all the guys get announced, the crowd's kind of getting excited, there's a little music playing, and then we always either have the National Guard or who was the color guard this year?
It was the American Legion.
Okay, the American Legion.
This time.
And so when they bring out the flag and then our like top-notch national anthem singer starts going, like, whoa, it's really happening right now. And like when that whole place is like quiet for it and then it's done and then everyone just like starts cheering, like then it gets really real, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. That is one of the funnest parts about our event, I think, is that that makes it feel like a sporting event that you're going to.
Yeah,
and not just
the spectacle of it all.
Yeah.
It's not just like, all right, get out there.
Go. On your marks, you set, go. That is fun, though, and I think it looked cool this year with the team, the team format having, 10 guys in the one color uniform come out and 10 guys in the other color come out and line up, and looking at all those 20 people, in a row, and like even seeing a picture of the blue team like in a line, there was like 7 people where the shortest one was 6'3".
Yeah. There was no shortage of height. I mean, or weight either at this thing, but there was a couple where it went and they got announced and the lightest one in the lineup was like a little over 300 and the shortest one was like 6'2".
Yeah.
So yeah, there was big boys on hand, no doubt about that.
Yes. And so we kicked off the first event, and I think it was a pretty fun one that we started out with was a Keg Load Medley. So it was, the 4 kegs, 50 foot each. And
weights again really quick were
150, 175, 200, and 250. So the weights themselves, not extremely heavy, but the ground that you covered.
You were
that was a lot of running.
You were doing some really weighted sprints. And then just for perspective, I didn't know this until right before the thing, is that an actual keg of beer is 160 pounds.
Yeah.
And I, in my head, always thought, God, that is really, really heavy. I mean, usually when I've gotten a keg in the past, I'm in no like mood for lifting anything, so it's not the best gauge, but 250 is considerably heavier than the 160.
Yeah, so that's, our lightest one was basically the weight of a full keg of beer.
Yep.
And
light beer or like regular
light or heavy beer though.
It's lighter. There's less calories in it.
Yeah.
Which an IPA.
Then it's pretty all the hops usually kind of add several pounds.
You throw a
per
couple
gallon.
handfuls of hops in the bottom of a barrel and it's
have that in there.
Yeah. But they managed to figure it out, I guess.
The bitters really add up.
the IB
bitter unit.
There's so many IBUs it gets heavier. It's really intense.
As far as the way that event played out, Jake the Snake went first for the red team, and he ended up with a time of 59 seconds. He made a stumble on the last keg, which he was going fast as hell on his run. He just tripped and fell with that last keg and then had to repick it and throw it back over. It probably cost him 5 to 10 seconds, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe
Still
bet.
hungover from his honeymoon. So.
From his, and actually he has a really good story about his honeymoon. So Jake, who did start the first event, he had gotten married the week previous on a Saturday, and I think on Monday did he leave for the Dominican?
Yes, I think that's
So
right.
he left for the Dominican Republic. I've never been there. Sounds like a great place to go.
Yeah.
And we were in the gym one night, and Tanner, you got a photo from him.
Yeah.
And why don't you
Well,
explain
and
that?
He texted me a picture of him next to a guy wearing a Massenomics lift shirt, and he said, "You won't believe it. I'm in the Dominican Republic, and I just ran into a guy wearing the lift shirt." And that was the story. He saw it, and it, you know,
Didn't he say he walked into the hotel lobby or something?
Yeah, and Jake turned to his wife, his new wife, and said, "Oh my God, look at that! Like, wearing a lift shirt. Do you see that?" And Jake's like, "Well, I have to go talk to him. You know, I have
Naturally, yeah."
And Jake said he wasn't sure if the guy was weirded out or not. But, hey, he said, "Yeah, I know those. Yeah, I know those guys. I'm friends with them." And the other guy goes, "Oh, you're from Florida?" And he said, "Well, no, they're from South Dakota." And he's like, "Oh, I thought they're from Florida." But anyway,
Stormed off.
but the guy was from Connecticut, and that's just pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Run into a
the
Massenomics
shirts
shirt.
are. I mean, that guy went on vacation, decided this is a shirt I got to take with me. I got to put out this vibe while I'm on vacation.
I'm only going to be able to take like 4 shirts to the Dominican Republic, and one of them's going to be my lift shirt.
And I mean, you got.
All lift shirts. Maybe just brought
He could have brought in 4.
Maybe he got it at the duty free shop or something.
Yeah. There could be a counterfeit, a bootleg section,
bottle of Cougars.
and some jewelry.
Yeah, but it's duty free.
Yeah. It's probably not marked up in any way at all. It's just straight up duty free.
Yep.
So
That
I
was
mean,
pretty
you
cool.
got to expect that now when you're packing your lift shirt that you could be swarmed by other men.
Now
It does have to do with the pheromones we put on the shirt before we send it out, though.
you won't be approached by girls, but
No, definitely, yeah.
just the men.
Yep.
But then Samisi from the blue team did his run after that, and he ended up beating Jake by about 5 seconds. Samisi was tossing the kegs over like.
Yeah, it was.
He's really giving him the old what for.
Yeah. I mean, like that guy is big and fast,
Yeah,
so
he
that is a
was.
really good event for him.
And I would say the trip probably cost Jake, because I think it ended up being a 4 or 5 second difference, and that's about how much it cost him probably.
Yep.
So 1 point for the blue team right off the bat, and you'll notice a theme as we go
Yeah,
through the
yeah,
first
there is
few
a-
events
there's a
about
pattern
the
here.
blue team getting points. So what was the second event, Ryan?
The old max tire deadlift. So it was me and old Eve Baca.
There was a decent amount of hype and talk going into this one.
There was a large amount of hype.
I mean,
And
you could.
Facebook trash talk.
There was even a limo ride on the line here.
Well,
which is
we'll get to that. Because so we agreed like earlier in the day that we were just going to start with 600 pounds because we could both do that pretty easily. So we started with that. And we did a coin toss. And did they do a coin toss for the first one too?
Yep. They all had a coin toss.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did a coin toss. Eve won. He told me to go first, so I went first. We both did 600. Then we both did 650, and that felt pretty good. And then we decided to both do 675, and I thought that felt really good too. And I'd never done that. That was the most I've ever deadlifted at the time on anything. And then I was like, I'm gonna go to 700. And he decided to do the same too. And looking back, I wish I wouldn't have done 700, but don't really know that until.
I mean, you have
until it
to. You also
happens.
have to assume that if you went to 685 and got it,
Maybe he would have got it.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys both got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, like, I don't think at that point, after doing over 600 4 times, that you're going to pull a PR either. you know?
Right? No, that's a lot. That's a lot of deadlifts.
In a short amount of time.
Yeah.
and
And
I
you guys
remember
didn't have a
doing
full
it, like,
recovery time between either.
I remember doing the first one, and then 650 was loaded, and it's like, all right, let's go. And it was maybe like 2 minutes. And it's like I would never do that in the gym.
yeah.
And I think it was after. Yeah, it was after that one, the 650. You're like, you can take a couple minutes if you want. I was like, oh yeah.
Because we're trying to keep it moving because it really is a show. It's we put it on as a show. Yeah, but there's some leeway there, like the chain plates. So that I was just kind of reminding you, like, I wanted you to get it. So I was like, I want to see everyone do as much as possible. So within reason of keeping time, in check. But I wanted to tell you, like, you don't have to go out there immediately. Like, you can take a couple minutes here,
It doesn't need to seem like rep work. Like,
right.
And I don't know. I went out there to do 700. And I was pretty confident, and I started pulling, and I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I think it came off the ground a little bit, and then.
Yeah, you guys both got it to probably a little past your knees, right around the knees.
Nope, and just dropped it.
Yeah.
And then Eve didn't get it either, and I was like, well. At least he didn't get it either.
Yeah.
So, we both look like pussies. So
yeah, you guys both ended at 675. So because you tied,
we had the first of many tiebreakers.
Yep. So yeah, this was also a theme for the day is the tiebreaker, and
the day almost turned into a farmer's hold competition.
Yeah. So the tiebreaker for any event was a face-to-face. Competitors staring each other down, farmer's hold in front of everyone. And what was the weight for the farmer's hold?
200 per hand.
200 per hand. So 400. So, I mean, you were getting some pretty decent times out of people with these. And you guys started, and you went quite a while.
Yeah, I felt fine. My left hand, I was just like, yeah, this is not going to work. And I don't want to make excuses, but I have not deadlifted without straps probably for... I don't know, 6 months. Yeah.
Well, and you were
5 months.
You were training for a deadlift event, but you knew you were going to lift with straps.
Oh,
I
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it never even occurred to me to I need to do farmer's holds because I'm gonna tie during this. I really want to tie.
I gotta have that backup plan ready to go.
Yeah.
So Eve eked that one out on you.
Yep.
And put the blue team up 2-0.
But so there was a limo ride on the line.
Yeah. I never. What happened with this?
So why is there a limo ride?
Well, because Eve has this limo service.
Two limos.
Two
now.
limos now. I don't know how he does that because he can only be in one limo at a time, as far as I know. But he bet me that if I win, I get a free limo ride for 3 hours.
So you could say a night in heaven.
Exactly.
And I think you also made a mention of the privacy window would stay up or something.
There's a lot of weird, there's a lot of features explained that I wasn't really sure that they had, but I still got the free limo ride.
Oh, you did?
Yep. He's just like, I'll give you the limo ride either way.
You haven't used it yet, though, have you?
No,
Oh,
not
okay,
yet.
okay.
I'm just gonna use it to get around.
Use it on the way over here, right?
To and from to school, and, as long as it takes every day.
It is the first week of school, so just have him take you. It'll really impress the kids.
Yeah, he has a butler. Oh my god, that's so cool. Oh, haven't used it yet, but I'm looking forward to that evening.
Don't forget to tip your driver.
That's right, always.
Here's a tip. Why don't you deadlift more?
That works too.
That's what you could tell him. So that was 2-0 blue. Then we went to maybe the event that some people at least were the most excited to see. It was certainly hyped locally within our
locally.
It was on the front page of our local newspaper that morning. This particular matchup,
the showdown of Larry Legend and Thick Nick.
I don't know if anybody saw the newspaper article, but the way it was laid out was just really awesome.
So we talk about Larry Legend on the podcast all the time. He's around, what's Larry, 40, 41? Yeah, right around there.
He's in his 40s.
Still hitting PRs to this day.
Oh yeah.
And then Thick Nick has kind of become his rival, his unofficial rival in the gym and life with all this stuff.
Yeah.
They're about the same age. Nick and Larry at the last powerlifting meet.
They lift in the same weight class.
Lift in the same weight class, had the exact same total. Larry beat him on Wilks, but I mean otherwise they're lifting very comparable weights. And so them being the elder statesmen of the gym, they had a little bit of extra hype going into this one. Tanner may have fed the local newspaper some info. They wanted to do a little backstory on these guys. The paper came down, interviewed these guys for a little extra hype, and also did a video of them too, and it was pretty funny. Like they the interview they gave, I enjoyed it, and the newspaper article was pretty good too.
Yeah, they were pretty cute in that interview. Just like you could tell they were really happy to be there.
Yeah, well, because we all play it up as a big rivalry and stuff, but like the two guys are, best of friends, but we play it out like it's serious. It's serious.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so what they were doing though was the wagon wheel squat for reps.
Mm-hmm.
So we had wagon wheels on the end of the barbell, and they're going down squatting to boxes for as many reps as possible. We had it set at 500 pounds. Thick Nick, I guess, lost the coin toss, I suppose, so had to go first. And he got to, I would say, like 10 or 11. And then he had a rep that really looked shaky where I was like, ooh, he looks like he's about done.
And I've never seen Nick get in that kind of situation before.
Yeah. Because he's a robot.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He's not a human. He's a cyborg or something.
Yeah.
But then he just stopped and stood there for, I don't know, maybe 4 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that, and just started trucking again. And he went and got to 16 at 500 pounds, which...
That's a lot more after 11.
Yes. That's what I was shocked. Then all of a sudden it was like, dang, he's never going to stop.
Yeah.
And then Larry was up.
And when Nick came out with 16 reps of 5, like they didn't have a suit on, they didn't have wraps, like
just sleeves him
when
out,
he did
so
16, I'm like, God, like Larry is giving up a little weight, and Larry's not going to hang with that at all. Like there's no, like if, like in my mind, I'm thinking like best case scenario is going to get 10, because I thought best case scenario Nick would get like maybe 12. Like I didn't think that they'd be blowing past 10. So then Larry goes
that
up.
Surprised me too.
Yeah, and Larry just starts grinding them out. I mean, even from the get-go, I don't know if any of them looked like super easy for him, but you could just tell he wasn't. He said this.
He said this in
he said this in the interview, even that you better get like a puke bucket ready for him, because he's not going to stop until you
start throwing the dirt on him, so to speak.
Then you might as well just start. What Larry's quote is, if I can't turn it on for just one set, you might as well start throwing the dirt on me now.
And he did turn it on, so put away the dirt.
And he kept banging him out, and he got to 16, struggled with it, got it. He had his chance at 17. He went down, and it pinned him.
Yep.
And he collapsed to the ground, like literally collapsed to the ground. There's a really excellent picture of him like sitting on his ass right underneath the bar, just like completely dead, getting held up by Ross, one of the spotters. And just I don't know if it's ironic, I don't know if it's irony or what you call it, but that they both would get exactly 16 reps in, probably one of the biggest hyped rivalry that we had in the bunch is just...
And the second tie of the day.
And the second tie. And Blue's already up 2-0, so... Ryan and I both on the red team, I was really, I was like, oh, Larry needs to get this. We need a point here, we got to get something. But so it was
we
a tie.
said that a lot after that, too.
Yes. So it was going to go to the same tiebreaker, 2 events in a row that we're going to use this tiebreaker. I wasn't necessarily expecting this tiebreaker to come up. I didn't
think it was going to happen at all, honestly.
No. And so I immediately ran over, and I was like, because I'm trying to keep it moving, I'm like, get those, let's get those out. We got to get those out. It's even while Larry's still sitting on the ground, I'm thinking, get that squat stand out of there, and we got to get the farmer's handles out because they got to go. And we get them kind of set up out there, and I go back over to Nick and Larry, and I'm like, all right, we got it set up. You ready to go? And they're like, we can't do it, man. Like Larry's like, you could tell like they didn't even hardly have to say anything. The look on their face was just there was no way.
We are dying,
and they're not ones to make excuses either. They would tough it out before most people, so that's how it was. And you just think about it. Like I've never done 16 squat reps at a time in my life. I don't think ever. So now at 500 pounds, and I'm sure you felt like dying.
Yeah. So they said we came to the determination we were just going to run through the next event and then do the tiebreaker. So should we cover what happened in the tiebreaker first then? Yeah. So we ran through the next event, came back to it, and it was those two standing face to face for a long time again. And Larry was just the first one to
I could tell Larry looked like he had like an alien about to come out of his stomach.
Yeah, like poltergeist.
He was just like, oh my God.
And then once that happens, you can tell something's going.
Yep.
Yeah, and he dropped it. So Thick Nick got the third win for the blue team. So at that point, it's 3-0.
Me being in a spectator position, I'm thinking, yeah, Tanner is really bad at picking teams, like really bad.
Screwed us. Well, I thought it was Larry that picked the team.
No, we drafted it on the podcast.
Oh, I thought Larry and Nick picked teams.
No.
Oh.
They were honorary team captains at least.
Well, I wanted to put the blame on Larry, but I guess I'll put it on
if you
now.
listen to that episode, you can go back when Tyler and I did the draft, and I counted it out afterwards. Between the two of us, we only had 3 correct picks of who was going to win events. All the other wins were the person not picked.
Oh, really?
Yes, I had 1 correct one, and he had 2 correct picks.
You actually picked a
Wow.
Yeah, I only picked 1 winner, and he only picked 2 winners. All the rest were the person not picked.
Yeah.
But so that goes to show you how hard it was and how close each one was.
Yep.
And it also goes to show that I don't listen to any of the podcasts because I had no idea that's how it went.
Yeah, that's how we did it. Event 4 then was the farmers carry race. It was 200.
Gotta bring those farmers carries back,
Yeah.
They gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah, so at this point we're getting the farmers carry. It's just supposed to be one event.
I mean, to be fair, it is a county fair, so
Brown County farmers carry.
That's right. You got to give
Massenomics
the people something
Strongman.
that they can relate to.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this one was a head-to-head race, which head-to-head events are always fun because
2 out of 3?
Yeah, and it was the best 2 out of 3. Justin kind of he took off running with it. I mean, Nick didn't have a bad performance at all, but Justin was like running with it. So
He made it look pretty easy.
he did make
He
it
did a
look
good
pretty
job.
dang easy. Like he had been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, his run was the type of one where you look at it and you're like, I suppose he could go a little faster if he wasn't carrying those, but like not that much, where it's just like, oh, he's just like sprinting with those,
Yeah.
And he picked them so fast. Like that's the other thing too. There was no time wasted. As soon as the whistle blown, it was like,
boom.
It was like he was stepping and grabbing it simultaneously almost. So yeah, and he was on the blue team, of course. That was 4-0 by that point in time. So
Yeah,
I at this
wasn't
time
looking good.
and like we said, we were on the red team, and I was not so much worried about the red team winning or losing, but at that point I was thinking, I was like,
Let's get
well,
some
crap,
points,
we
maybe.
need this isn't going to make for a good show if it's 10-0 or 12-0 here at the end. And I'm going down the list, so I'm like, well, we could still just win like all of, I mean,
usually win all the
everyone
rest
could go
events will win.
either way, and we'd still be okay. But I was just starting to worry about whether it was going to pan out to be close enough to be make the team thing look like a good show. So then we went to the 5th event, which was the women got their spotlight for the first time in the Strongman Showdown, and that was a cool event. I think the crowd liked that. I think the crowd liked watching Megan and Adele go, watching the women go.
Yeah, and that was one we're watching. I'm like, wow, they're like doing a lot of work here. Like it just felt like we were almost watching conditioning, like them throwing the, was it 120-pound sandbag?
120-pound sandbag
just
over bar.
over the bar, over and over and over. Like, I don't even know what the rep count was. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, it's 15 and 12.
15
I think
and
is what they
12.
ended up with.
Like in my head, it seemed like 50 and 60. Like, but yeah, I suppose you don't normally just do that back to back to back like that typically. And 120, I mean, for anyone's not bad. And then like women, like.
And then for 15 reps,
Yeah, like what was it? A minute or a minute?
90 seconds.
Minute and a half.
But
Still,
imagine
that's-
a minute and a half of just going, balls to the walls like that.
Yeah, it's tough.
You'd be tired.
So Adele got the first point for the red team
so
there.
it was 1-4 at that point in time, and I was pretty happy. I was like, haha, we
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
we're not. It's not going to be completely.
The
skunked
comeback.
here.
The comeback is starting.
I'm not gonna lie, they had us in the first half.
I think I heard that joke a few times on the sidelines during that too.
Let's go.
Halfway point might be a good point, we kind of had a new segment here.
Ooh,
This
yeah.
is the first time on the podcast.
Maybe do we have any ideas for like a segue music for the?
We
It's a bit like we can't just say oh stop it right there. Like we need well, I guess this is the first song up on my phone, so we'll just say new segment. All right, coming in this week.
It's the Open Powerlifting Stat of the Week.
Woo! All right. So what do we got here, Tanner? What is this new segment?
Yeah, so this is a thing we're going to do every episode of the podcast. We're partnering with the excellent folks over at Open Powerlifting. No secret that we're fans of what they do, and
got some awesome stuff going on
yep,
there.
Big fans of their site, and actually we use it a lot for a lot of the stuff we do at Massenomics. So, but this is going to be pretty cool. What they're going to do is it might be maybe us asking for a certain statistic, or them just throwing out something that they think is cool and interesting, and we're just going to shoot it out over the air every week. And this first one does not disappoint. I don't think either of you guys know it yet.
I have no idea. I'm ready to get shocked and awed here.
Okay, so let me see. I'll just read it, but first I'm going to explain what we're talking about here. Comparing men versus women and Wilks scores. So if you put all the men and women together in one pool, and then looked at top Wilks scores, whether there's more men in there or more women in that pool.
Okay.
So the first thing, for the top 1,000 Wilks scores out there, male and female combined, raw and wrap lifters combined, all feds worldwide, all years.
So raw and wrapped, we're just not talking any ply,
right?
Just
right.
raw.
So
okay, yep.
All forms of raw, whether you have knee wraps or not, all men, all women, all federations, all years worldwide. Do you think it's more men or women in the top?
I think it's more women.
I would say so too.
I mean, in my head, it should be more men because more men have competed.
Yeah.
Just they're a bigger part of the pool. But when I just looking at like the top 20 Wilks of all time on open powerlifting, I think there's more women there, which makes me think the trend is going to continue with women.
I'll say women.
It is 86.2% men.
Whoa, okay, wow.
13.8% women.
Okay.
That's not the end of the stat, though. So then, to break it down smaller, and just looking at the top 100 Wilks scores, same parameters that we talked before. So, any guess there again?
Now I want to say men, but no, I don't.
Out of 100?
Just the top 100 Wilks scores.
50 maybe now?
See, you're headed the right way. It starts to even out a little bit more, but it's still 74% men in the top 100. So I suppose it's 74 of the top 100 are men and 26 are women. Broken down even one more time for the top 10 Wilks scores now. Same parameters. What's your guess?
It's got to be about half and half.
I would say half, but maybe like 60% of them are men or something.
60% women.
Oh,
so when you go to top 10, it starts
the
to
elite of the elite. Okay.
Yes. So women actually hold more top 10 Wilks places than men.
Wow.
Interesting.
So that is the first open powerlifting stat.
I like that. That first level of it really blew my mind. Like, I mean, actually, all of them were surprising, but
Yeah.
that's cool. I like
a good
that.
Stat.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
So I guess I'd say if you're a powerlifter and you've never checked out open powerlifting, go to it, type in your name, check your meet history. If there's no meets, or if you notice any meets that aren't in there that you competed in, let them know, and they will. If you can get them the meet results, they can get that input for you, which is kind of cool. It also shows you your best meet that you've ever done when you click on your name. And then besides that, you can have them link your Instagram directly to your name on Open Powerlifting.
Yeah. And if you're
you
feeling,
should follow them on Instagram too.
Yeah.
They always have posts with really good statistics and really good content. Like today, I think they had, what was that one with deadlifts in the, what weight class was that? The weight class was like
181.
181, with Ben Pollock and just like
percentage of people that can do 315 for deadlift, percentage of people that can do 405, percentage of people that can do 495, or whatever the weight was. I think it was 400.
They just have a lot of content like that where they just break down something.
I always like those when the top level is just one person's name.
Yes, yeah, like
what it was
the
for that
very
one. It was
pinnacle is one man.
It's
Yeah,
like point whatever percent.
yeah, 0.001%
Yep.
is
Yeah.
this person.
Pollock.
Yep.
And then there was one person above him. I didn't recognize that person.
Yeah, there was. I think it's a Russian guy. I can't think of it, but.
yeah.
And then, the final thing I would say for open powerlifting is if you're also feeling very generous, like we're saying, you can volunteer, donate your time to help them put meets in, do all that, or if financially is something you're into, you can back them on Patreon for $3 a month. You can do all types of crazy cool stuff with your name, add in colors, customize it.
Yeah. Or you could just start a podcast and then.
Or start a podcast and give them a shout out. Like that's always cool too. I'm sure they would love to get multiple shout outs on every podcast every week.
Yeah. Keep it going.
But so
Joe Rogan, I'm sure we'll be plugging them next.
So open powerlifting, your job now is to come up with something equally as good as that for us next
Try
week.
and top that one, I dare you.
That's a pretty good stat of the week.
That is.
Oh, I guess we don't have an outro music.
All right.
So we moved on to event 6, which a lot of people might say was like the most handsome matchup of the day, I think.
Who was that? Tyler Stone and
No, it was
Tanner.
myself and Big Shane.
This is
it's like God. Who's some really ugly people?
the event that took Shane out of retirement.
Yes, that
that was awesome.
Did you? I don't know how well, like with the sound system in this year, how well everyone could hear the bios of it.
Yeah, but I heard it afterwards and I laughed really hard.
We did get Shane out of retirement to go against me in the traditional Highland Games event.
Probably
weight over
Shane's
bar for
best strength event of any discipline of any kind.
It is. He is a really good weight for height.
A weight for height savant.
I mean, anytime we've gone against each other in it, he's beat me.
Yeah.
You know, like, but if you looked at just like the power lifts or something, you know, I probably got him beat at those, but he is an excellent weight for height thrower.
He is, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of it is natural, just sheer raw talent. He also probably has more shoulder work than anyone else in.
Well, he's got a shoulder day.
I mean, yeah, he probably trains. I mean, he trains shoulders more than anyone I know.
Yes.
I would assume he probably trains shoulders more than most people know.
Yeah. Yes, I think you're right. And we went out there, and it's a rising bar thing. So we went like our heights were 9 feet, 10 feet, 11.5 feet, 12.5 feet. And then next we went 13.5 feet. Up till that point, neither of us has missed at all. You get 3 misses on a height before you're out. I missed my first one at 13.5 feet. He got it. I went on my second time and got it. So then we jumped to 14 feet, and I got it on my first one. He missed, but then got it on his second try. So then we went to 14.5, which neither of us had ever thrown 14.5 before. So if either of us were going to get it, it was going to be.
And what was the weight?
55? 56 pounds.
56. Okay.
There is, for other weight classes and women and stuff, there are lighter ones, and the women's one is a 28-pound one, and I threw that once warming up. I'd never thrown it before, and it went.
Did you almost hit someone?
Well,
like
like the guy walking, and I was like watching it, like, oh, that's gonna land on his head. I missed him. Okay, just gotta stand there. Just watch it happen.
Yeah, that weight for height, it's hard to like just kind of halfway do it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to just like, all right, this is a little lighter. I'll just kind of loft it up there, you know, because if you don't put something into it, it'll just, you know, it's not natural then.
Yep.
I don't know what my point was on that, but
is that it went sailing?
Yeah. Anyways, we got to 14.5, and I was first, so I missed, he missed, I missed, he missed. I went to my third one, and I missed that, so I was out. The competition, the only throw left was his last throw. If he missed it, it wasn't a tie. I won.
Oh, okay.
Because you play back to the prior round.
Okay. See, I thought we were on the fast track for another tie. Is what was.
No, I would if he would have missed the last throw, I would have won because the play back to the prior height, I got it in 1. It took him 2. If he makes it, he wins because it's over. I've already missed my 3.
Yep.
So it literally everything rode on that last throw, whether he gets it or not. And both of ours through all the 14.6 were like hitting the bar, and they're in the neighborhood, and he got it together and threw it over the bar, and it was a pretty fun moment, I think, when he got that. It
rolled over.
Yeah, and I was the one getting beat, and I was still like, yeah. I thought it was fun.
Oh, it's finally over. Oh my God.
I am sore from my.
Well, that was a lot of throws, though.
Yes,
It was.
Yes, I am.
You guys
actually
probably
sore.
could have started at 11.5 feet.
Yeah, but it's hard because
No,
you
I
don't
mean,
have
and you don't want to miss your first throw and then be like,
Right.
oh, well, we scratched on this event, so.
Yeah, we certainly should have done that, and I think we would have went a little deeper towards the end of it, but Shane was on the blue team again, so that made it 5-1.
Yep.
So I don't have anyone to blame for the red team not winning. The farthest I have to look is to myself.
Yeah.
For that.
You're a complete and utter failure.
Yes, exactly. and at that point, I was like, dang it, we really need that is my fault,
really?
and we really needed that one. So like I said, that's 5-1. Then we went to the car deadlift.
Car deadlift, yeah.
Which is always a fun one, I think.
And this one had out of everyone, the most physically, most different matchup with Grayson at what, 5? Did we say 5'4"?
Yeah.
5'4",
410.
5'4", was it 175, 180?
Yeah, 175.
175, and then Matt, who was 6'5", and 260-ish.
Yeah.
And Matt can deadlift more than him. Matt is on record deadlifting more.
Yep.
But the car deadlift is not a deadlift. It's a car deadlift.
Right.
So it is a little different.
And we've seen Grayson car deadlift before, and we all know that he's good at it.
He's a car deadlifting machine. Yeah. And he lost the toss, so he went first. And what did he rep out? It's 12. 12, which is lower than last year.
Yep.
And we were talking about that, and he's like, I looked it up. The car seemed like it was the same weight, basically. Did we have the one last year?
Car.
It was the same.
Was it the same car?
It was the same car, same year.
Did we? Oh, yeah.
Different color, though.
A different color. You do have a point there.
It.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, well, how much gas was in the tank?
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
There we go. Was the one last year on blocks or anything?
No.
Okay.
I think it was the first year.
First year it was.
Okay.
So it was a shorter range.
So
of
it
motion
really
the
was almost exactly the same setup. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he went out there with 12. Matt, the bar was set. He knew what he had to do. And what do you have? 8?
Yeah, he got 8. He looked.
And he's normally a sumo puller, so he was a little out of his. I think just a little out of his element.
I thought he looked good pulling.
No, he was.
Yeah,
he
no.
was,
But I remember thinking that even that he had been kind of worried about that, and he pulls sumo, and I was like, maybe you should pull conventional more often. Like it looked pretty good, I thought.
Yeah,
I should probably just do that anyways.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Yeah. If you want to do a real deadlift, I guess.
Yeah. Cheaters.
So, and Grayson was on what team?
Red team.
Ah,
So we
okay.
got a
So the
W
red
there,
team.
5-2.
5-2. The gap is staying about the same.
Then we went to event 8, which was what?
Was that the Oak?
Yes. Oh.
And this was
one of my favorite events of the day.
This is for me, yes, one of my favorites.
The most impressive thing that I saw.
Yeah, we had some hype going into it. I know you guys threw out the number that Alan and Trevor, they talked about, let's just start at 800 pounds. And I thought, well, all right, I guess we'll watch them struggle through that one. And then when they put 50 more on and call it quits, it'll still be really cool to watch. But I just thought in my head they're setting the bar really high right away.
I had not seen either one of those guys before that day, and that just completely surprised me. Because I mean, they're both really big, but I was like, if you told me they could yoke 1,000 pounds, no, they can't.
Yeah,
Trevor and Alan, I know you guys are. I'm looking at the camera. I know you guys are both listening, and those two gave me so much hell after the event that. They said when we recorded the pre-episode or when we did the draft,
you were calling them out.
Well, was I?
No, I didn't think you were, but
they said I was dogging them and kind of that I didn't have any faith that they could go that much. And
in your defense, I think we kind of dogged everyone though.
But they really let me have it on that.
Yeah,
and which rightfully so, because they put up one hell of a impressive performance.
So what did they start? They started with 800, and they did that, and it was they had no weight on the yoke. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, we're going to be in for a show here. That was my immediate thought.
Yes.
And what did they jump to next? 900?
900.
Same thing. It was pretty much nothing changed.
Yes. The worst part about this event, though, was resetting the yokes each time. So, like, 10 of us are out there, like, trying to push them back into the right place on the starting line on each time.
And so after 900, they go to 1,000. Things are getting slower, but it's not like they're picking it up and dropping it over and over. Like, I think on 1,000, Alan might have went the whole way.
I don't think he dropped any of them.
Well, Alan never dropped it.
Even on the last one he did?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah,
and I think Trevor dropped it once.
Yeah.
Which still I just assumed like, 1,000 pounds, yeah, they'll get it. They'll just drop it. Like before the event, before I saw him, I thought, they might get it. They'll just drop it like 8 times. It'll be like you see at the Arnold when they take like a step and then maybe a second one and that's it. But no, I mean, it was still like they were going. And when they called 1,100, I mean, I was shocked, but also based off of their performance, it's like, yeah, why not?
And this was a head-to-head event, which I think was pretty cool. Like that they were going
watching them.
It was much cooler that way than going back and forth. I think.
Yep.
Because just seeing 2 1,100-pound yokes out there getting ready.
Yeah, and so they both finished 1,100, and I think the initial call was
1,000. They both.
So they both finished at 1,000.
Yeah.
They called for 1,100.
Or they went 1050 after that.
Oh,
so,
they did?
Yeah. So they even did another. So they did 800, 900, 950, 1,000, 1,050, and then 1,100. So they ended up.
And this is less than like 10 minutes, I think, at this point.
They were not taking long breaks, and the same way I went up to them like after the, maybe second to last one, third to last, and was like, "Now you guys take a minute here. We'll get these reset, and like everyone wants to see you do it here, so we don't want to take forever, but like it's okay to breathe for a couple minutes here because it's a lot of work."
Yeah.
And when they got the 1,050 and they called the 1,100, we got 1,100 loaded on the bar on the yokes, and I was looking around before they started, and I was like, there is no more weights left. Like the 1,100 on 2 yokes was taking all the weights that we brought. It was 32 45s, all the 25s we had, the 10s. There was literally 4 5s left. So once I figured that out, I went up to them and I said, guys, this is 1,100 pounds. There is enough for you each to do 1110 if you want to run time. If you both get this, our other option is to strip one yoke. And if you guys really want to go heavier than this, if you get this run, we can do that. Yep. Or we could just make this 1,100 a race. Because up to this, it wasn't a race. It was just if they got it there, they got to advance, with the other guy to the next level. And they, thought about it. And I assume they didn't want to do a whole bunch more like 1,000 plus
Well, why
runs.
would you at this point when you've done that many?
So they did the race, and they both picked it up well, and it's just Alan never dropped it, so he finished first.
They both made 1,100 look way easier than it should be.
That was a staggering number.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed by that. That was awesome.
That was the most impressive thing of the day.
So I guess I didn't have any faith in you two guys, and
they really pulled through.
Yeah, but Alan was on the red team, so that made it 5-3. So then there was some light at the end of the tunnel, especially with the tug of war being a two-point event here at the very end. It was like, wait a second, we could.
Yeah, this could tie it up, or
maybe
narrow
it up here. That was probably the moment in time where there was the most hope of the day, is on Alan getting that. Then we went to event 9, which was the log, the max log, versus Big Country Jacob Daigle and Tyler Stone. You might remember him from such things as the first 124 episodes of the Massenomics podcast.
If you're not familiar with that, just go back.
Check it out on IMDb credits.
But yeah, they used that was Jacob Daigle's log, right? Yeah. I mean, he had like the closest like replica to the
Austrian
oak. Yeah, that you could probably have.
Yeah.
And I mean, full on log, like it's. I mean, it is it's a real log. It had the ropes on it, like it had some finish to it. Like I think did he stain it or something?
Yeah.
Like
and he made it himself.
It looks good. Yeah. It looks good. And so like with something like that, there's always logs do have some variance to them. So Tyler was definitely like, am I giving up a little bit of an advantage by going to this? And what'd they start at?
The bare log was 261, and that's what they started at.
And what were they jumping at 10 or 20 right away?
Then they jumped 20, 281. They both got that pretty easily. Yep. They went to 301. They both got it easily. Jacob started doing this thing where he was walking. He'd have to walk forward to like finish the lockout, the press.
It was really fun to watch the people that were sitting on the floor in the very front because, like, man, if he drops it on them, like, they could probably go to the hospital.
They would be in trouble.
But considering the hours and hours that Jacob put into making that log, he wasn't about to just drop it on the ground.
Yes.
So
you could tell he was protecting it.
He would get it locked out, hold it straight overhead, and then take about 4 steps backwards to set it back onto the crash pads. And I was like, he's doing like a 300-pound
like overhead yoke carry, like
backwards.
If only we had like the insane budget of Rogue where we could make bumpers that crash pads that were like 10 feet in length on both sides. Maybe next year.
There's always room for improvement.
When we get that Winston cigarette sponsorship.
That's what I told Ryan. It's like the brought to you by Winston cigarettes. You might remember us from the Winston Cup of NASCAR.
Getting back in the sports.
Yeah, next year our sponsors will be Jewel Pods, Four Loko, Camel Crushes, Backwoods Cigars. That'll be like our sponsor. For the kids.
The kids love that stuff. They went to 311. They both got that. They went to 321 then. I think Jacob was up first, and he made a good run at the press on that, I think, didn't he? Wasn't he fairly close to all?
I mean, it was moving.
He had it just about locked out, and then he bailed on it, went behind, and it landed as perfectly flat as it could.
And it
didn't even phase it. Yeah.
And then Tyler went up, and he pressed it pretty good.
Tyler made it look like he had a lot more in the tank.
Yep.
Like once he gets it cleaned and it's in position, like it goes. It's not an issue at all.
Yep. So that was cool seeing 300 plus on a natural log. Your common person isn't going to do that.
Your uncommon person isn't going to do it either.
It's also worth noting that Jacob is enormous.
Yeah.
His lower body.
His legs, like he had the Reband power shorts on. Yeah, those things were pretty full.
They were maxed out. So Tyler blue team made it 6-3, and last 2 to go were Brad Neitzel and Tim Feathers in the dumbbell. Brad was on the red team, and I said to Brad, "It's 6-3. If you win this, it's 6-4." The tug of war is worth 2. We could still tie the whole event. Their event was the circus dumbbell. Was originally slated to be the last man standing Atlas stone. Brad had a last week bicep injury, and we weren't about to have him go out there and do it and make it even worse. That's not going to be fun for anybody.
Yep.
So we evaluated the situation and came up with the best alternative that those 2 guys could still go against each other and be competitive. And we settled on circus dumbbell, and we did it as the last man standing format.
And from a spectator standpoint, at one point I thought these guys could go for over an hour because they both made it look so easy in the beginning, so easy to the point where I ran over to Tanner and said, "I think we have to add weight to this thing. I don't think there's going to be an end in sight."
And that was probably after 8 or 9 reps each. So I went up to Brad and I was like, "Yeah, that's probably true." And I asked him, "What do you think about stopping for just a second and putting more weight on there? Are you guys ever going to not be able to do it?" And he looked at me and goes, "We don't need more weight."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, it's
that maybe there is an end coming." And I think it made it go another 2-3
rounds, something like that. And they were just Brad was just fatigued.
That's
from
a lot of circus dumbbell. Well, and the handle, what's it, like a 4-inch handle or something like that?
3-inch.
3-inch. Okay, yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And he could finally got where they just did enough of them, and he couldn't quite lock it out anymore. And then Tim just had to go and get it. And Tim never once looked any different than any other rep that he did.
No, not at all.
I am convinced that if you did cut into Tim, you would find out that he is like a cyborg or something. And there's
a good chance
inside of it, because his technique on that and pretty much anything else I've ever seen.
I don't think you could make it better.
No.
I don't think that's possible. I'm convinced there's a lot of people that do strongman that will never touch that realm in overhead of circus dumbbell level.
Yeah.
And I'm talking guys that are even probably weigh 100 pounds more than him or more.
Yeah. So he is good. He got the win for the blue team, made it 7-3. We still had the tug of war left. So the blue team had a lock already, but I guess as the red team, I don't think any of us were. I mean,
That
we were
was
like,
the real event.
Yeah. Once the tug of war rope came out, I got kind of excited because you don't realize the amount of space needed for a 10-on-10 tug of war.
you need about 125-foot stretch, which is a big.
It's a lot of area. And you guys are watching it like it's getting set up. You guys are getting into position, and you get the start call. And immediately, just dust starts kicking up. It was like a herd of cattle. Like that's the only thing I compared to. Like that's the only thing I saw. It was just like you just see a lot of like big things and dust kicking up everywhere.
Yes.
And it was, I mean, it was at a stalemate for like the first several minutes.
Okay, that was the worst part of the day. That very first tug of war, because like we started, and I think everybody was just so like, at least on our team, I was like, yeah, let's do this, let's go. But nobody was like, yep, let's win. We're just like, okay, we're just gonna pull on this until we can't.
Yeah. And and that first one, I mean, I asked everyone after the event, at the after party and everything. I was like, first, have you ever done that? And nobody had. And then second, like, did you ever imagine that it was going to be as hard as it was? And
My
nobody
hands hurt so bad.
And I mean, I can't imagine getting so tired not moving. Like literally just standing in place.
I feel like you're not doing anything. Yeah. And like that first one, we had no strategy, which tug of war, it's like if you're not pulling at the same time, like you might as well just give up because we were just not doing anything.
And we had, we went short, lightest, shortest in the front and tallest, heaviest in the back. And
we didn't know that was a bad idea.
No, and you can see it even like the short guys in the front are almost hanging from the rope,
like pulling like above their head, or like at their
feet
head
are almost like dangling from the ground. It's like, well, how much can you pull on it when you can, when you're grabbing up?
Yeah,
by your neck?
none.
But the blue team won that first round after a long battle, and there was points in that first one when I was thinking, boy, guys, I don't know if I'm pulling anymore. I hope someone on this
I think
side
I'm just holding on to it and like kind of.
There's a picture of Jake even where it looks like he's just
like trying
draped
not to
over,
fall.
like he's dead and like just draped over the side of it. Yeah. So second round, we got together. Someone ran up and said, "Hey, you need to put the short guys in the back, the tall guys in the front." So we're like, we'll try that, I suppose. I don't think we have anything to lose at this point.
Yeah, we could have used any pointer at that.
Yeah, and then we said the other thing we decided is we need to go on a cadence, on a call so that we're
pulling at the same time.
Pull.
And
so
we did that and moving the shorter people to the back and putting the taller people in the front. That was like boom, like every pull was like we were
like
getting
watching it wasn't even like a competition then. Like
every pull it was like we were moving like a couple feet. Like
you guys look like tug of war professionals.
Yeah.
Like it just looked like you were just doing what you wanted to. And did that one last 15 seconds even?
No, I mean I think it was probably
like every pull.
You gave her 5 good yanks and you were
she was done.
And then it just shows the, I guess, I don't know, the competitive nature or whatever it is, but we had already lost the competition and it didn't really matter, but everyone was so excited. Like after that second one, it was like everyone's like jumping and slapping each other. It's like, oh my God, we just won the Super Bowl. Like that's kind of what
just
it felt.
A couple of dumbasses playing tug of war.
Right. But in that second, you know, everyone's so excited.
Oh yeah.
So then we flipped and the blue team must have re-strategized a little bit before that third one, I think too, because it was a lot better battle again that third time around. It still wasn't like the first one where it was a miserable life experience, but it was longer than the second one. But we kind of made ground for the most part, almost like it got to a point where it stopped and then we picked up again and won. And same way, everyone was so excited. It's just fun to be a part of that, I guess.
Yeah, that was really fun.
So 7-5 final score, blue team won. If we would have just won one, if Ryan or I wouldn't have lost our events.
Man, if I could go back, things would be different.
Then it would have been a tie.
Coach would have put me in.
Which would have been exciting.
Yeah. Then we would have had another farmer's hold.
But that would have been captain elected.
True.
A captain elected, or I mean, a team elected
farmer's hold.
Farmer's hold. So I don't know who we talked about this afterwards, like who each team would have picked. And I asked Jacob, I said, would it have been you? Would you have done it? And he was like, not me. So ours would have been Brad Neitzel, I think.
Oh, to see the grip. Because I guess I don't know the other guys, but in my head, Tyler has an insane grip.
But the Sioux Falls guys, like Trevor and those guys,
do they practice that?
No, but you know who they said they would pick?
Who?
Tim.
They did, really?
Yeah, like, and they were like, "Oh, it would be Tim." Like that was their response to me. Like,
okay,
like,
yeah,
like that was the way that they said it. Like, "Oh, it would be Tim."
Wow,
you know. But so that would have been really fun to watch. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Whoever it was go at it, but didn't quite happen that way. Was still close. The blue team got to vote on their MVP or their power performer, as it was for a special trophy that he won, and they voted Thick Nick Berlovich for winning that ballsy squat event, and he got a cool trophy for that. We took some cool pictures at the end, like we always do, and then it was the after party, which is always a good time.
The 12th event.
Yeah, event 12, the most important event.
There was a great turnout. We had a lot of fun.
I love the 12th event. Honestly.
It is a lot of fun. Yep.
And bringing in the new crew of guys this time.
Yeah, that was nice too. Yeah. Yep.
And we picked a good group of guys too.
Yep.
I really do hope that every one of them will be back for it next year.
That would be really awesome if they did.
Whatever way we do it.
Yeah, however we do it. If it's similar, I could see there being a lot of rematches even. You know.
Yep.
We don't know exactly what we're going to do next year, but bigger and better, I suppose.
Who knows what they'll come up with. But yeah, overall it was a really good event. I mean, we have to give a big shout out to our sponsors, the sponsors for the event. Natural Dakota Soy was the headlining sponsor.
Yep.
And outside of that, there was Old West Barbecue Sauce, Stephen List Automotive, Egg-Tegra, Northwestern Energy.
Northwestern Energy did a really good job. They're good sponsors. They did an excellent job.
Yep. Loggers, QQP, Tommy D Creative. And
that might have been it.
I feel like we're forgetting one.
No, they must not be in.
Yeah.
But it was a great event. It was our best one yet. Someone estimated the attendance at over 850, and someone else told me they thought it was 1,000. But either way, it was our biggest crowd that we've had so far.
Yep.
And it's cool seeing that big of a crowd to watch a strongman event.
Yeah.
You don't see that every day at a strongman event.
Or any strength sport event.
Yep. You don't.
Yeah, no, it's like non-existent almost.
Yeah. No, so that was awesome. I'm glad that when it's over, I'm also really glad that it's over.
Oh yeah,
because it is like one of the more stressful things.
I mean, I didn't even really have to do much for it, but I was getting a little stressed. So between like my wedding and that being in August, I was like, oh, August is just like turned into a lot of work here.
Yeah. But it's over. And as far as things being over, this podcast is probably going to be over.
This is over.
Yeah. One other thing about the Strongman event, though, we had these event shirts this year, and we've got a few of those left, and at least at the time recording this, I think there'll be a few left when this comes out. But they are on sale now. You can pick these up for just $14 on our website.
Yeah.
It's
a steal.
Pretty sweet shirt. Got our logo on one side, American flag on the other, and the event logo on the front.
Yeah.
And they fit nice.
Oh, so nice.
Make it look super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've washed mine yet.
Yeah, you don't want to wash that.
Never wash it.
Never going to wash it. Not with my warm pants. They're probably still warm.
So otherwise, that's it. You can check out our store for the rest of the stuff. The Weekend Warrior shirt, of course, all of our lift hats, our regular Massenomics hats. Check out our website, articles. Anytime any of us or Professor Shans is putting out new articles, we put them on there. YouTube channel, getting more subscribers on there all the time. Every podcast episode goes out.
Maybe check a few of those out. You can see what's happening in the studio world here. Will we ever figure it out? No one knows.
Until next time. Other than that, our Instagram handles.
I'm Tommy. You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
I'm Ryan. You can catch me at FlyingRyan_D.
Tanner, the Massenomics Instagram account at Massenomics, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Peace.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.